Sue?
Mike!
Sue?
Mike, where are you?
Ah! The horror!
Hi, everybody.
Hello. How's it going?
Welcome to the horror
The horror!
of Child's Play 2019.
I'm Michael O'Rourke.
I'm Sue Slachter. You know that we are big fans of this franchise, so of course we had to talk about the reboot.
Yep.
The 2019 one.
The one that I'm sure made some people happy and some people very unhappy.
Yeah. I'm in the happy camp, luckily. How about you?
Me too.
Awesome.
And we'll get into that. From Lars Klevberg, the director of Polaroid, comes Child's Play, a remake of the 1988 film of the same name. In this version, Andy Barclay is a 13-year-old kid living in Chicago who receives a high-tech buddy doll from his mother, Karen. Little does Andy know, a disgruntled factory worker in Vietnam has turned off all the safety protocols on this particular buddy doll, who now calls himself Chucky. What trouble will this Chucky doll cause, and how will Andy handle it? Sue, what did you think about the new Chucky?
I really, really like the new Chucky. I have to admit that since I am such a loyal fan of the original franchise with Brad Dourif doing the voice of Chucky, I was a little unsure when I heard that he was going to be recast. But then I found out that Mark Hamill was going to be Chucky, and I was so excited. He's pretty much the only actor that I could think of who would be able to hold a candle to Brad Dourif's version of Chucky. In the original Child's Play film, Chucky is a murderer, a strangler, an all-around bad dude. The Chucky in this film, however, is actually, in the beginning, pretty innocent. Like, he's sort of just like a child in his, learning AI, just trying to understand the world around him. And it's really only because these safety protocols have been deactivated that he is able to become angry and sad and eventually murderous. I actually feel sort of bad for Chucky at the beginning. Like, he's kind of misunderstood.
He's not human.
No.
He's an artificial intelligence. So his motivations are completely different. He has a completely different character arc. Charles Lee Ray in the original doesn't even have a character arc, really. He's just a killer trapped in a body.
He's just a mean guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Something else that I really like about Mark Hamill doing the voice of Chucky is the singing of the Buddy song. We can't play it here, but it is so funny.
How's the song go?
You are my buddy. You are my friend. More than just buddies. You're my best friend. It's better when Mark Hamill does it.
Yeah.
Yay!
There's a big focus on the Kaslan suite of products. So the Buddy doll is a Kaslan product, and he can connect with essentially everything in your home. This film seems to take place in perhaps an alternate reality from our own that is maybe slightly more advanced, maybe by 10 or 20 years.
I always thought it was like the near future. It looks like the near future.
It feels like the near future, exactly. Because if you think about, products that we have like Siri or Alexa, self-driving vehicles, all of those types of things in this world, in the world of Chucky, are integrated into the Kaslan suite of products. And Chucky is able to control it all, which is supposed to be this fantastic feature, but I actually think is a really creepy idea. It's very much this, kind of origin story for how AI can take over the world.
It's funny, too, in the movie how the simple act of the one person turning off the safety features for the doll causes all this to happen. I doubt anything in real life would be that simple.
And this is some pretty advanced AI. I mean, even if we're looking into the near future, this doll is able to learn so much. All Chucky cares about is that he wants to do what is going to be best for Andy in his own mind and being Andy's best friend. They make the point that these buddy dolls imprint upon the person that they are assigned to. So the only mission that they have is to make this person happy the best way they know how. And if there's no safety protocols turned on, the best way they know how gets really messed up pretty quickly.
What did you think about the fact that when Chucky gets turned on and he imprints on Andy, and then Andy wants to call him Han Solo?
Han Solo.
Did you say Chucky?
What? No.
But I thought that was weird because in the original, he calls himself Chucky because he's Charles. Mm-hmm. Why would he call himself Chucky in this one?
I have thought about this. They do make the point in the beginning that the Chucky doll himself is damaged in some way. Mm-hmm. You know, he was returned to the store where Andy's mother works, and it seems like perhaps when the safety protocols were turned off, you know, maybe something else was damaged in the system. Alternatively, if you want to take more of a perhaps cynical view of it,
because he has to be.
I think the more cynical view of it is this. The reboot of Child's Play is so different from the original one that it honestly wouldn't have to actually be a reboot. It could be its own separate movie.
Yeah.
But if you did that, then I think it would have only been thoroughly criticized for being a ripoff of the Child's Play franchise. So you either get to be branded as a ripoff or just make the plot so different that it's, you know, able to exist as its own movie, but you still have Andy as the kid, Chucky as the doll, you know, and just that really, really basic framework of killer doll idea.
Yeah. The theory I had for why he called himself Chucky was Andy wasn't his first owner. He was bought by a different family who returned the doll. And I wonder if that kid had actually called him Chucky. So when he got Andy as a kid and then imprinted on him, he just like kept that name. But they just didn't spell it out for the audience.
Oh, I like that idea.
That's my theory.
Yeah. I think that's a good theory. I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah, because they return him because they say his eyes were glowing red.
Never a good thing.
There's an ad in the beginning of the movie that describes all the Caslin products and how they connect with each other and how it's going to make your life so much easier. And I thought that was a really good move on the filmmaker's part to have that ad in the beginning just to explain how this world works and who this company is and what they're trying to do and how Chucky fits in, well, how the Buddy doll fits into this. And then I really liked how they went from that ad where it had these families and these clean looking environments, you know, these nice homes, and then smash cut to a dingy factory.
Yeah.
Where they're actually making the dolls and it just looks super dingy and all the people look miserable. And
it looks pretty soulless.
Yeah. You know how there's the trend for reboots to be gritty and serious? And they could have done that with Child's Play, making it a gritty reboot and completely serious, devoid of humor. And the moment I realized that wasn't the case was when the guy killed himself in the factory and he lands on the car. Oh, that's the tone of this movie.
Yeah. Was there anything about this movie that you weren't such a big fan of?
After Chucky kills the cat, and then Andy still keeps the doll after that for a little bit, and Chucky in the middle of the night is even making cat noises. If I were Andy, I would have gotten rid of Chucky right then and there.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that the doll is still in the house, like, is kind of mind-boggling to me. I think part of that might have been because Andy grew attached to Chucky. Yeah. Because he was kind of a friend for him.
That scene where Chucky is playing what I assume is the death throes of the cat to Andy in the middle of the night was so freaky. Like, that was actually probably the scariest part of the movie for me. If that happened to me in the middle of the night, I would throw whatever was doing that out the window so fast. It would just be like, nope. I want to talk about the character design of the doll itself for a moment because it is super freaky looking. I feel that in the original film, they were trying to make the regular appearance of Chucky look at least somewhat inviting. And this time it was just like, oh, whoa. If I opened a box and saw that, I would not want to be that thing's friend to the end. No. Andy is trying to have Chucky scare his mom's boyfriend, and he's trying to get Chucky to contort his face in all these weird ways. And it's freaky, but it's also really funny. It's very humorous. I appreciate that in this version of the film, Andy is turning 13. You know, he's a little bit older. He was only 6 in the original film. So Andy, as well as his friends, you know, that are introduced in the film, they actually get to be more active participants in what's happening. And I liked the different spin that put on it because of how much Chucky is learning from being around Andy and his friends.
The original movie focused more on his mom. Like, it wasn't really about Andy. It was more about the mom trying to find out what's going on. She's really our main protagonist in most of the movie. This movie, the mom is really more of a secondary character. Yeah. And it's really much more about Andy trying to deal with Chucky and then stop Chucky towards the end of the movie.
As long as we're talking about Karen Barkley in this movie, I wanted to say that I really enjoyed Aubrey Plaza's performance in it. I felt that what she brought to the character was, this really fun energy that it's like she is a young mom, working, again, menial job. She's fun, and she really wants to interact with her son, and she really wants to encourage Andy to play and to make friends and to enjoy his life.
She's dating this guy. It's not subtle that he's an asshole.
Oh, he's so scummy.
Eventually, when Chucky follows the boyfriend home, you find out that he's actually married with 2 children. Chucky kills him, and you don't really feel that bad for him.
Something that I did like about the inclusion of the boyfriend character, I didn't like him, but I felt like they used him in this really satisfying way to have some gross and kind of bizarre scenes that I really enjoyed. All of Chucky's one-liners are introduced by a different character within a certain context in the film.
Time to open you up. Let's see what we're dealing with.
And then Chucky will say the line later in a totally different, completely murderous context.
Time to open you up. Let's see what we're dealing with.
That makes it super funny. So I really enjoyed that. They were interweaving it into the plot and not just making it like, hey, this AI has some snappy one-liners.
In the last review, I kind of said how the original Detective Norris, I wasn't the biggest fan of. Sue definitely likes that character more than I did. In this one, I like Detective Mike Norris much more. He just seems way more like fun, chill, relaxed. He's almost kind of the opposite character of the original Detective Mike Norris. You get to know Detective Mike's mom, which in the original, she was not even a character. She lives in the same building as Andy. Seeing Detective Mike and his mom talk to each other is pretty funny. Like, those are some of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Her big scene in the movie, I'll just say that, is one of my favorites. One thing that did bother me a little bit the second time watching it through was noticing just a little bit more of the CG that was used, in some of Chucky's facial expressions, some of his movements and things like that. I'm not saying that it was poorly done. It's just that I'm such a big fan of going with animatronics and puppeteering as much as humanly possible. I understand why they did it. I feel like it makes sense, but I still would have preferred just to go with as little CG as possible.
I'm just happy that they didn't make him completely CGI. They seem to limit the CGI mostly to things that would be a little too difficult to do in real life. There is one scene towards the end where Chucky jumps up and it looks so fake. It doesn't look real at all. And I hate it when they do that with CGI, where they make something that obviously shouldn't be able to do that, and it just defies physics.
Yeah.
They definitely took some influence from some more recent horror properties, having, 3 or 4 kids together doing stuff together. Stranger Things, which is big right now, has a group of kids. I could tell they were definitely pulling that influence from some newer things.
Overall, I think that it's fair to say that we both really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I didn't fall into the trap of just doing the same movie again, but not as good. Like, they made something that was different.
Yeah.
That took elements from the original, but they made their own story out of it. The cast that they got together, I thought, were all really good, and they really worked well together. It's a very character-based story.
Yeah.
And it's all about the motivations of the character that's driving the plot forward, and not just random things happening for no reason.
I think that the reboot did justice to basically there being a reason why there should be a reboot or why there should be a remake of this film, even though the original Child's Play series is still actively going on. I felt like they changed it enough and brought enough new information to it, to make it interesting and to make it worth having a brand new start. I'd watch a sequel.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I don't know if they're going to make one, but yeah, hopefully.
Just in case.
I think this made money, so there might be a good chance they might make a sequel.
We will see. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in with us today. We'll see you next time for the horror!
Bye.